Today we'd like to take a look at the GAVS zDesk platform with you. When we think about zDesk, we think about your hyperconvergence taken to the next level. So with zDesk, we didn't just stop at hyperconverged storage, networking, and compute. We took that to the next layer, and that layer is application layer. So here you're looking at a representation of not only hyperconvergence of storage, compute, we also are looking at the application layer, the VDI. So all of the provisioning, all of the brokering for your desktops is included in this single platform. When we look at this visualizer, which is this center part here, we get the key concept behind zDesk. And that concept is to simplify everything from the architecture to the management of the platform. Our entire goal with zDesk was to simplify it and make it so that your IT generalist could actually run your virtualization platform and not require very specialized IT architects and certified IT personnel. So here with the visualizer, we see the entire data center. Right? We see everything from the cluster through the individual hosts running our workload to the individual storage pools where our workload resides. Then of course our workload, which is virtual desktops. One of the key components of this visualizer is to allow you to very easily see what is going on in your data center, right? To draw relationships between the individual objects. So here, if we select this virtual desktop pool here, we see that it's a Windows 10 non-persistent in memory. So this actual pool of desktops is sitting in RAM across all three of these hosts. So as you can imagine, a virtual desktop pool that sits in RAM, you're looking at a pool that has extreme performance with very low latency. But in the same respect, we actually have a pool here that is sitting on hyperconverged storage. So here is our hyperconverged storage object. And as we can see, just by selecting it, it's made up of storage from each of the hosts within our cluster. So if we actually select it here and then expand the metadata, we see that this hyperconverged storage, which is made up of all three, right, storage from all three of these, we see here as contributing hosts. So we can actually lose one of these servers without adversely affecting the hyperconverged storage. So back to the whole concept behind zDesk is to take that idea of hyperconvergence and take it to that next level. So as you can imagine, in a data center where you have hundreds or thousands of desktops, this visualizer could probably become overwhelming. So what we've done is include a very verbose filtering mechanism here along the left-hand side. So this filters everything you see in the center in our visualizer. So you can set it up to filter out everything that doesn't have alerts, because really who cares about the 95% of the environment that's running fine? Your administrators are only concerned about those things with alerts or with abnormal performance. So we can actually select only those that have alerts. Or we can take and filter our hosts by CPU utilization. So as you can see, those just moved around, and they'll continue to move as CPU load on these hosts changes. You'll see them move around in real time to indicate which is the heaviest workload, which is represented up here, the lightest workload, which is represented at the bottom. Within our virtualizer, our visualizer, size, color, all mean something, right? So when we look at the individual desktop pools, we'll see that these colors actually mean something, right? So I've got the dark green color here means that system is ready. That desktop is ready for somebody to log in. If I look at this very dark green with the little user icon, this tells me that this has an active user logged in. And as I select it, I can see here that the username is Greg Dean. So we've also included a very verbose search engine within the platform. So if you get a phone call, let's say from Greg D, saying that the desktop is slow or that they're having problems with the desktop, you search by username and you see the object that they're logged into. So at that point, you have one of two choices. I can either go directly to the console for that desktop, or I can go to the performance, right? So this dashboard here is available for anything from desktops to hosts, right? So all of the performance characteristics that are provided via our message bus are provided here. So anything from CPU to memory, storage capacity, network I/O, it's all represented here on the dashboard. And kind of to tie this off, we see here along the bottom this alerts, right? And if we actually go out about a day, oh, I was looking for some with alerts. Let's see here. Let's actually do it by host and look back a day. So here we see that this timeline has gotten large and small circles, right? So I'm looking at this host over the last 24 hours or one day. And the size of the circles on here tell me how many alerts that host has had, right? So by merely looking at this timeline, I can see when I've had alerts, and if I click on it, it will actually freeze that across the board, right? So now I can see at the time of alerts what was happening in CPU, what was happening in memory, what was happening in my virtual machine workload. I can freeze that and get an idea of what my entire environment was doing at that time. And one last thing to cover here is the graphs, right? We went to great lengths to show you not only the average, right, CPU, let's say the average here, but the peaks and valleys as well. So the maximum CPU load and the minimum CPU load are also identified on the graphs. And that's across the board, whether it be on the individual host or on the individual virtual machine. So that's the zDesk platform, kind of from end to end. We've looked at the main dashboard, which shows you your data center from cluster all the way down to the desktop pools. And now we've looked at the performance dashboard. If you have any questions, reach out to any of us at any time, and we'd be happy to answer those for you. Thank you.